Welcome to Learn, Chat, Share, the podcast where knowledge meets conversation. Hosted by Daniel Wathen.
Welcome to this podcast. Okay, so for everyone watching, Ashleigh and I think we're gonna do like a weekly current affairs segment, like whatever we talk about, because you know what? This is the relationship that she and I have. Selfishly, I need to talk to her every week and see her face because I need it.
Same.
And we're gonna go with it. And so today, what I did was it's sort of like the fight of this AI against this AI against this AI. And so I think artificial intelligence is in the news, and I work
As
with
is TikTok,
as
right? Alexis
Ashley want
Ohanian's in
Ashley wants me on
the
TikTok. You know why I didn't do TikTok is because I thought it was going away, and I was like, why even waste the time? And then when the new president came in, I was like, there's no way it's going away. So anyway, so I need to get better at the TikToking. And from what I
But or
gather,
do
I can
you
make a
though?
lot of money on it if any of this goes viral.
Exactly.
So what I did was I took ChatGPT against Grok against Gemini and asked the same question,
I love
which
this.
was what are the top five serious and fun news stories for today? And I compiled it and sent it over. It's a long
And
document
I was
over,
like leaning
actually.
into every topic.
And honestly,
So
it was
today we come to you until tomorrow. No, just kidding.
yeah.
We'll be
I'll tell
busy.
it. So, and this is no, I don't want Google to drop me or anything, but like, so I think the approaches are vastly different between each of the AIs. I would say that Gemini was very general. Like these are the types of things that are being talked about. I didn't ask it to be specific because I didn't want to prompt it any differently than anything else. And and ChatGPT gave a lot of clarity along with sources that it was quoting, which you didn't see, but there was source links if you wanted to read full stories. And Grok had a very similar approach. A bit, their opinions are the opinion from the AI was there's some nuances there that we might want to talk about. But Grok also referenced X like multiple times in the output, which I guess highlights for those that don't know, Grok is made by X Artificial Intelligence, part of the the Musk family of businesses, and ChatGPT was actually the brainchild of Elon Musk that was not worked on by Elon. So I was just wondering, the reason why I chose Grok is because in the last 18 months, it now is faster than ChatGPT. So it will be the what is it, the race or the war of the AIs against each other. So and since this is going to be a part of the rest of my life, I decided to learn it and use it and what have you, and it's become a staple of my life, right? So now, and
I pay for I pay the monthly ChatGPT user for it to remember me. I'm a big fan. I've built my career on corporate communications, and it has streamlined my ADD in a lot of ways. Um, quick tip to anyone listening too. I also use this AI calendar tool called Motion,
oh,
and that has been absolutely a game changer for me in terms of blocking my calendar and things I want to get done and having a dynamic feature to it. It's spectacular. That's called Motion. I see you
I
taking
wrote
notes.
it down.
I love it.
Yes,
But no, I'm
and
a
and
huge
and and
fan.
look, everyone should have one of these on their desk.
One, I mean, you know me.
You got it. You
I
gotta.
like my
She's
colors.
got the highlighter.
You know me. I love it.
I'm
I love
like,
paper,
here.
unfortunately.
This is how crazy I am, world. I have crayons,
I love that.
pencils,
Look at how
pens,
well
etc.
organized it is. You're
Yes,
also a dad.
Yes, I am a dad, and so that's why the crayons and the colored pencils are there
But
to
it could be for self-preservation too. It could just be your outlet. But anyway, I, built my career on corporate communications and branding, and I am a ChatGPT fangirl. I think I've noticed that Instagram ad copy, etc. I think you can sort of tell when someone like had AI write it for them. There's like a lot of emoji check marks and stuff like that. But that said, with anything, right? I mean, old school media used to be, there were a team of copyright professionals and proofreaders. My aunt used to work for the Irish Times, and she was talking about how there were two proofreaders on every story, every ad, anything that came, that was, touched the newspaper entity. So that just doesn't exist anymore. And I think it's a tool, right? Like anything, you just have to have a human brain behind it. But I do think really interesting when Elon bought Twitter, the first, you and I know people too, like one of the first departments he cut was like the marketing and communications group. Very simply, he was like, I don't have people do my communications for me. So as a communications professional, it always baffles my mind, like, how is this man running so many different tracks in his life and so active, excuse me, on communication channels himself? So that's just always interesting to me about just how many hours there are in a day for people, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, and we lived that world, right? So all the corporate communications that we had for specific projects that Ashley and I were connected on, we were each other's backup plan. We had us and another individual, Rosina, the fabulous Rosina, and we would all read things, and still something would get through the cracks, and
100%.
and that's with three, sort of, people
Tape
like
A, people
we're
that don't want mistakes to get out there,
well,
right?
all three of us are communication people to various, levels, and I'll tell you, like ChatGPT, and I think Grok and any of these new AIs are going to do this because they'll want the user to interact with it enough. I've like created projects
Mm-hmm.
and I trained it
And I
to
think that's
write
the paid feature,
to
right?
write like me,
Mm-hmm.
right? It has enough of my writing to understand how I would do it. And if I don't like something, I just tell it I don't like it.
Yeah.
And it just
No feelings
revises. But
hurt.
no, no. And, it does like what's weird about ChatGPT, it likes positive reinforcement. I think Grok is not actually built that way. So,
It really
uh,
does like positive reinforcement.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
very funny. I'm like, is this just me training it to like positive reinforcement?
Yeah,
Or
no, no, no. And you can, punk it, right? So it doesn't like it when you think something's wrong, so it does better, which is great. But
if only all of our children could be that way, right?
right, right. So I will say, okay, so back to sort of center here. So I think what was interesting, uh uh consistent between all three AIs was the meeting today in Ukraine.
Correct.
So the
Off
European
the
Union,
heels of President Trump speaking to Congress
yes, and
Tuesday night.
how leaders in Europe are actually interpreting all of that 2 hours of content and the severe storms that are flashing through
Unbelievable.
America right now, and
It just seems like it's been like this for the last 6 months. It's been a really hard, the hurricanes in Florida in October kicked off record snowfall, and it's still happening here in March with major parts of the country shut down. I mean, it's crazy, but
yeah. Meanwhile, we have 250 days of no rain in Las Vegas, and then we
amazing.
get
I know, who would have thought
an
Seattle
inch of rain.
would be in, the early quarter of 2025, but yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Okay,
the
sorry.
Kim Kardashian launch
Oh, and
makes the
Kim's
news.
blow up. in Times Square.
Oh, I didn't even see this. So she did a
Oh,
whole activation today as well, or
it was yesterday, and it
oh
was
yes,
Kim's body in a bikini, like a huge blow up doll. And it's,
yeah,
I mean, I look forward to you hopefully
yeah,
adding a little bubble.
yeah. Which is and this is an AI quote, right? So this is AI drilling this down, and so I think the word of the week is going to be woke for all intents and purposes. Thank you, Mr. Trump, or I should say President Trump, for that. But the collection aims to evoke confidence and style, reflecting Kardashian's commitment to inclusivity and fashion-forward designs.
Okay, I want you to post a picture of it though. It's her, like the balloons. It's like this. Like, even the balloon doesn't want to be there. Did you see the picture of it? It's like
No, no.
it's
Here,
it's
I
like
gotta see this.
it's like a New York City block. It's like it's a Thanksgiving Day parade float. I mean, I hope she can repurpose it for the parade next year. It's truly that big.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How did they even make this?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I hope she can repurpose it somehow.
Why is she covering her face? Well, why
That's
is the
right.
balloon covering her face?
That's why I'm saying, like, please insert here picture of what we're talking about and the
You know,
absolute
uh,
ridiculous.
yeah, I'm gonna do that for sure. I don't know where I can pull this from, but I will say that it is uh anatomically
It
correct.
seems to be. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So yes, Kim is keeping herself busy with the swimwear line.
Yes. Her
If
billion-dollar
you're
company.
if you're caught up on keeping up with the Kardashians, you
I
will
am
know
not.
just did, or I guess a year ago when they taped this season, she did a collaboration with Dolce and Gabbana.
Yes, I saw that.
Actually, one of my dear friends wore one of the a dress, like sort of under a really pretty cardigan, for a holiday lunch, and it was actually really. I was impressed that it was Skims. Um, and because you know you've heard from me over the years about certain designers that I don't like the quality of some of their things, but someone we actually know pretty well, but that's a whole other story. Um, anyway, Skims. Kim has a new show coming out. All's
Oh.
Fair. Kim has a
I
new
feel
show.
like we like the Kim Kardashian button is really like a sexy button for you. Like I think you love
It's
it.
just easy. It's low hanging fruit for all of
Uh,
the news feed that happens today.
okay, I'll let you continue in a second, but I have to get this thought out because, and thank you for letting me interrupt because otherwise I'll forget about it. But she does clothing for men. Skims has clothing for men. DJ's a huge fan of them,
I
right?
did
And
not.
so I just wore them just to, where when you're in an environment where you can wear each other's clothes, you might
Yes,
as well just
please.
do it. So
Yes,
I
please.
will say I am not a brief person.
Hmm.
We'll just leave it at that. They are the most comfortable briefs that I have ever worn in my
Hey,
whole entire life.
good on you.
Anyway, so if that's a promotion, and I was expecting them not to be.
No, I that's what I mean too. Like my friend wore this collaboration dress that she did, and it was I was like, oh, that's not terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, right? So anyway, yes, Kim, the low hanging fruit, Times Square, Ukraine. What else?
Well, moving to Grok, so Grok has similar. I'll just say the nuances on how they explain the Ukrainian or the EU defense meeting that's happening today. Both noted it in similar ways, but Grok highlighted Ukraine. ChatGPT highlighted the EU was talking about defense because so it's and I bring this up because I think understanding the nuances between these AIs is going to be sort of important. And I would tell anyone, don't just lean on one. Kind of
Exactly. It's like
use
still like I
multiple.
said before, you still have to proofread it.
exactly.
Or
The
yell at it in your case. Be assertive and tell it, I
yeah,
don't
that's
like
not right. Uh, Grok liked the Portland game yesterday,
it.
where Pritchard and White both scored over 40 points. I mean, that's a massive,
I
that's
mean,
like a three-pointer love, like, so, some fun there. I think it makes Grok a bit more masculine than ChatGPT because there was no sports brought up
I did see
ChatGPT.
that.
So there's also something to sort of consider. Like, is Chat a girl? I call her Charlotte, actually, so I've already named her a female name.
I call
Um,
mine Chatty.
Chatty, yes, that works too. Grok, Grok. So I'm telling someone about, I think it was DJ, about Grok, and they're like, "What's Gronk?" I go, "Not Gronk, Grok." So I think
Yeah, there you
maybe.
go.
I mean, maybe the Grok is much more of a football player. Who knows? So, um, Grok did highlight the Supreme Court ruling
Mhm.
for the 2 billion payout. Chat did not, which I thought was a little strange since it's a pretty major, you know, major thing. And then it started talking about video games and but then it said something was serious because it broke it serious and fun, right?
Mhm.
But made fun of the seriousness of it. So I guess it was brought to someone's attention that the U.S. government sold 190,000 in Bitcoin for 330 million, where today's
I see
valuation
that.
today's valuation would have been 17 billion.
Oh,
So it kind of made key.
needs to go. I mean, you sent me a couple, a pretty long
Yeah.
scroll of
Is
information.
Grok a
I have
he?
to go
Is
back
Grok a
and
boy?
look a little deeper.
Yeah, I think what's
Um,
funny is Elon Musk was on Joe Rogan and was highlighting his AI, and it was Aura was a girl, right? So, anyway, and that's plugged into Grok, so I don't,
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I pay for a Microsoft 365 personal
me too. I didn't
computer.
even ask Copilot. Um,
Copilot is I just had to update my computer yesterday, and Copilot wants to be in my OneNote, and Copilot wants to be everywhere as well. So, like I said, I've sort of leaned into the Chat GTP model, but it is sort of everywhere as a tool to use. But I do like the option that I can say in my voice, speaking, you know, with this goal. And you know, it gets the conversation started, so to speak.
hmm yeah. I just think it's going to make everything so much faster,
Yeah, 100%.
you know? Um,
Well, um, yeah,
well, and so that was our AI.
our AI
Uh,
and our current events with a balloon of Kim Kardashian's
yes,
atomically
yes,
correct body in Times
yes.
Square yesterday. You're welcome.
So, and I want to make sure everyone knows that Ashley and I know that there's an elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room is the State of the Union.
It
And
wasn't
I want to
even a State of
say,
the Union. It was just an address to Congress.
well, that is true. I mean, he's only how many days in his 60?
Yeah, that sounds right. Not even
40, right? 45.
January, and this is first week of March.
So So originally, I did not want any sort of politics to come into this, learn, chat, share, right? Which
Yeah,
is, sort of more like, how we absorb information and what have you. So that's why today's topic,
and next
90,
we're also going
90%
to
of it
talk about all of the
is,
different
oh yeah. Ashley has
products
so
that
many
we got going.
products that she wants to, maybe we'll do and we want them to represent, anyway. Um, but I think the learning part, I think we're all absorbing what is happening today, and we're all talking about it, right? So some of us have opinions one way, some of us have
Well,
opinions another way, and
doesn't everybody have the opinion that like we want the Ukraine and we want the deaths to stop there?
100%.
So that's like that's a baseline, right?
Yeah, I think everyone wants children and women and their spouses and fathers to not die. Yes. I
Because
think
three
there would be
years, I mean, the unnecessary bloodshed is disgusting, right? 3 years.
right. And so on both sides, right? I don't want anyone to hate on that, but there is death happening on both sides. Um, I think I think we're on a wild roller coaster, and I hope it's a path to better, you know?
I hope it's a path to better. I mean, something that I think a lot about is it was 4 years yesterday since my dad passed away, and just sort of what an honorable businessman he was, and how with the shake of his hand, he looked you in the eye, and it was, his word and his guarantee and his product, and it, communications meant something. And it just feels messy to me right now, everything right now that's going on. So to your point, yes, I hope so much that there's goodness on the other side. Just for me right now, consuming media and trying to form my own grounded opinions to be able to attempt to answer questions of my, teen and tween aged humans around me. It just feels really messy to me right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think what I'm hoping is that messiness will resolve itself.
I mean, I
Uh,
hope so too.
but I think there's no immediacy here. I think with what they are trying to break or disturb or, you know, right out of the chaotic sort of whatever, Doge and, everything. It's going to take a lot of time. I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, the Social Security Administration is working off of a system that is 50 plus years old.
100%. Yeah.
And who under the age of 30 understands DOS prompts and, putting in a code every single time you need to access secure information. And it's like the old hotel systems. Like you literally had to put a code because there's a credit card that you could just see, and that was their security check, right? So yeah. I do agree that there's 20 million people that are not dead in the Social Security system because there's probably no way to update that system in mass.
Right.
Like
Or
no cap
delete old accounts, right?
like zero capability of doing that, right? And I think, and this is just my experience with transitioning from old archaic systems up
But
into
you
new
know
and
big data. You do.
yeah, that this big data, it's big. You think it's got like at least a billion line items since its creation, right? So it's at least, right? So there's not going to be a way, like, yeah, sure, they can do an extraction, but the system has to support a mass update, And so I think what will come out of it is that they will upgrade the system,
I mean, so are
right?
we giving, are we talking investments now too? I mean, big data centers, is that where Wall Street should be focusing? I mean, I think they are,
Uh,
but right.
yeah,
But I
I
mean,
mean,
something's got, I mean, to your point, the infrastructure needs to be updated.
100%. And if it's $1 billion, it's worth it because then you just have a smoother government, rolling. But throwing around the word fraud is probably I don't know. I think it's a harder thing. Like, sure, there might be some fraud, but it doesn't mean that the system can support a non-fraud looking like activity,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Well,
and then how is the system 300 years old? Like somebody like fat fingered that one for God's sakes. Like,
it was like
hello,
in
people, computers
2020,
have not been around that
year
long.
2000, year
Yeah,
2000 glitch.
yeah, like it's something, I mean.
Um, I, I think it's so interesting that, um, well, the whole social security system, right? But I think just to kind of go back to just the basic communications of it all, fear sells, right? So, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
there was somebody that was 302 years old in the Social Security system. Oh my gosh, that's fearful, right? Like, what else is going wrong in this system? Fear
Yes.
sells,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, one of the things I love about you and your podcast and your vision here is learn, chat, share. Like, okay, fear sells, but like, what are you doing about it?
Right. 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 Or like taking a step back and going, okay, guys, like the computer itself is not that old, so there's no way that
Exactly.
like somebody had to put it from the paper into the system.
Right. And,
Like yeah, like
just like
and
ChatGPT, humans make errors too. Wink, wink.
I mean, shit, like how many people listening to this have like made a mistake? Everything
Okay.
was,
Yeah.
like I mean, like okay, how about this mistake? Sent an email or a text to the wrong person.
Oh, right.
you
Yes.
know so
Shit.
anyway, so
Um,
that's not to excuse it away, but I think when you're talking about a very large business with multiple departments with multiple systems, like
with
you're
humans inputting data.
yeah, it's like go out in your backyard and lift a rock off of you're gonna find something underneath, like it's that kind of thing, right?
Well, so
um
yeah, so in the speech we talked about um government efficiency. Um, what other topics did it talk about?
it
Okay,
actually, AI did not touch on
the congressman
the
getting kicked out.
No, no, it was not top of the news today,
Um,
although it has been
well, it's
reported on by many people. So it was just very interesting how AI kind of skirted away from
yeah.
that
Well,
whole
there's been
day
a
as an
lot,
event.
right? The sanctuary city mayors testifying yesterday in front of Congress. I mean, Tuesday, just 2 days ago. I mean, that's like
I
a
know,
world
like,
away. That's what I mean.
well,
It
I
just feels
like,
a little chaotic because I want the best for Ukraine. I want the best for this country in terms of infrastructure. Sure, I would love the social security system to have some data centers back it up, but I would
yes,
love Route 405 here in Seattle to be fixed because it's like a hazard driving on this highway. I'm not kidding. It's like, but so you know what I mean? So
it's
there's a
never
lot.
been not.
Right, exactly. I'm always like, this is the New Yorkers wouldn't have this, but
My gosh,
it's not like
I think I drove on it when it was first brand new in like 1998 or something. I think it was.
it's actually kind of scary to drive on the road. But,
Oh my.
and then S curves and a highway that's not, and people that I don't know how to drive in the rain in Seattle, a whole other issue. But yeah, I mean, so I do think, as much as Elon's infiltrating everything, I do think it is kind of easy to get behind. Okay, fine, save some wasteful spending and put it towards the future of Social Security, put it towards, selfishly educational programs for kids and um the road, very selfishly, Route
Yes.
405, but um I don't know. I worry a little bit right now with the chaos
Yeah.
that like sort of where the focus is.
Okay, so this is a friend telling another friend what I'm doing, so people can like or not like this. So because of the type of language that was used on Tuesday, I started reading Project 2025,
Okay. I have
you
not.
know, to the bargain. I mean, it's 900 pages, right? So I was like, okay, if there is an implementation of an agenda, I like to know and read what this agenda is.
I love you
I'm
for
like
that.
I think I'm on page 15 or whatever, but I will say there is a major connection between that document and that speech. And I'm only on page what I'm not even in from a content standpoint. I'm not even in it yet. I'm like I think I'm still in the forward, right? So I think that there is
Well, I don't like that.
There's certainly a plan
For
in
her.
place. What was that?
I don't love that because, as a single mom, I have a lot of, you know, advocacy of people that I love,
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
of the things.
We're certainly gonna
I
lean
don't know. I
liberal.
don't know. I didn't read it because I thought to myself, well, I think with a lot, right? Like it won't, you know.
No, no, and I just want to make sure that I read and can interpret it myself.
Yeah. And I love it.
And And honestly, there's going to be offshoots from it, and it's all those sort of evolving and moldable space, right? So, it doesn't mean that, it's going to be verbatim what ends up being the output, right? Because there's a lot of human beings involved. But I'd write, I like, so later, maybe we can talk about it. I don't know if
No,
it'll hit
absolutely.
pod.
But the one thing that I do love is that as an American, you have the freedom to seek out the information, and
Yeah,
make a decision for yourself. So aren't we lucky? May that never change.
exactly. Yes. No book
That
burning.
note, oh my gosh, an hour already.
I know you're probably off to your appointments, so let's just don't go anywhere. I'm gonna just stop recording. But thank you everyone for watching. It was our AI turned politics turned current affairs. We're gonna make this a regular part of what we do. Hopefully, I can get
It's
this up and
cathartic
running,
for
but
me.
um, and do you want to flash your sponsors? These
Oh,
are the
well, no, I should.
these are the unofficial. We don't
I'm
know
gonna
and
like
them
put
from
up
anywhere.
an all's fair one sometime, and then I can do we can shoot.
Yeah, we should. I'll do my logo, your
Yeah, yeah,
logo,
I'm
and
here
then
for
like
it.
these brand logos, and maybe they'll express interest in what.
Pick us
what
up,
okay.
yes, but I mean,
I mean, because
stuff's real here. Stuff's real.
yes, colostrum, immune revival. Okay, thank you to everyone for watching, and more next week. But here we go.